like to call to order the June 20th, 2023 Brooklyn City Board of Education regular meeting. Mr. Scott, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Zinger.
Here.
Ms. Call.
Here.
Mr. Slattery.
Here.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Here.
Mr. Neal.
Can everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next. In order for the board to fulfill its obligation to complete the planned agenda in an effective and efficient fashion, a maximum of 30 minutes of public participation as pertains to the school-related topics will be permitted at each meeting. Each person wishing to address the board will approach the podium and state his/her name and address. If several people wish to speak, each person will be allotted 3 minutes until the total time of 30 minutes is used. During that period, no person may speak twice until all who desire to speak have had an opportunity to do so. The period of public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the board. Is there anybody? We have no one. I'm gonna hand it off to Dr. Claris.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody to this evening's Board of Education meeting. Last Monday, I had the pleasure and opportunity to present to the Brooklyn City Council just an abridged version of our State of the Schools from back in April. And at this time, I'd like to reciprocate and give our Mayor of the City of Brooklyn, Mr. Van Kirk, an opportunity just to kind of update the Board of Education with some things happening in the City of Brooklyn, partnerships, things like that. It was a great presentation. Appreciated the opportunity to be in front of council and the mayor, and hoping to continue this process on an annual basis. So, Mayor, thank you for being here. And your assistant, too.
Yeah, the muscle.
Thank you, Dr. Claris. Thank you, Board. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I do, again, want to thank Dr. Claris for taking time out of his schedule to come to our meeting last week and to give a abbreviated state of the schools. And I appreciate that time. So basically, I just want to kind of walk through what's going on in the city of Brooklyn. Most of you are familiar with it, but maybe there's some people that watch these school board meetings that maybe don't watch city council meetings, kind of walk through some of the areas, things that we have going on that pertain to the citywide as well as the school. And I just want to start off with some partnerships that the city has currently with the school. And of course, the city is very appreciative of all of these. And of course, at the top of the list is our school resource officer, Mr. Meadows, Officer Meadows does a great job. So we're very happy to be able to share the school resource officer with the school. Of course, through recreation, we could spend half the time talking about all the different recreational outreaches that we have that we share together through summer camps and all throughout the year. So we're very grateful for that. Some city events that the school and the city kind of partner with. Is a picture of the band actually at our ribbon cutting ceremony. So I was very happy to have the band that came to that. Of course, they participate in the Memorial Day Parade, the community cleanups, and there's several other events throughout the year. And a couple of course, with the Chamber of Commerce as well, that we partner with. A couple of newer items that I'm excited about. Dr. Claris and I have been working on this for the last several months, and that is combining the city's newsletter with the school newsletter. I believe the school right now does one a year, I think is how that works. I'm not exactly sure.
We do. Our mid-year one is digital. Our annual one will be going out to residents actually digitally, and will be mailed home this coming week. So within the next week or so, residents should be getting their annual newsletter. So yeah. So
as Dr. Clarence and I were talking, what a better way to kind of show a partnership here is to combine the city's newsletter with the school board, the school's newsletter as well. And so the city's goes out on a quarterly basis. And so starting this fall, the school will be partnering with the city, and it'll be one combined piece that will go out in the fall, and then of course we do them all 4 seasons. It'll be one in the winter, spring, and the summertime. And so looking forward to that partnership. Also working with the schools this year on the Fall Festival. We've done some work in the past with various activities, but looking forward to partnering with the school through the Fall Festival. I next wanted to kind of move into some things that are going on in the city of Brooklyn. And primarily, a lot of the things that you see going on around the city have to do with the city's master plan. And that master plan was completed back in 2020. And it was based on an in-depth study of a citywide survey. And that survey asked numerous questions to various stakeholders regarding public safety, services, recreation, economic development. There's a lot of different areas that were talked about, and we're not going to have time to go through everything tonight. But Once these results were brought in, were evaluated, we developed a master plan, and they were really focused on 5 different phases. First of all, what's the current conditions? What's the vision, the community vision for the city? What are some actions? The implementation, and then finally, they put together that final master plan document. And as part of this survey, a service comparison was completed against Brooklyn, against other communities in the Great Lakes region. There were 47 different categories that were ranked across the board when it comes to percentage of satisfaction. And Brooklyn outranked the region in 41 of 47 of those categories. And so the residents were very pleased with what was going on in the city overall, and those categories varied. We'll talk about those here in a second. Should come as no surprise, but our safety forces were among the highest ranked levels of that satisfaction, with well over 90% plus satisfaction in both the fire and the police. And the safety forces, that's a continuing theme, has been for many years in our city, which is something the city can be very proud of. Other city services like snow removal, garbage collection, also ranked very highly among that survey. Other services that were rated as top priorities were the maintenance of city parks was rated as a very high priority for residents and stakeholders. Maintenance of the city, major city streets, private property maintenance, of course, prevention of crime, and then maintaining city buildings and other facilities. There were others that were ranked, but these were some of the ones that were kind of ranked in the top as we went through that. Maintenance of the city parks, this year, we'll talk about this in a moment, but we've seen upgrades, significant upgrades in the Marquardt Park, which of course the city and the school share there for soccer facilities over there. That entire park has been upgraded. As far as the investment in city streets this year, well over $2 million is being invested in city streets around the region, and the construction barrels are a pretty good indication of that. No one likes the construction barrels, but everyone always likes the result, and so we're happy to see that take place. Of course, we've really focused on property maintenance. We have a full-time housing manager now that's taking care of those things. And of course, we'll talk more about the safety services here in a moment. Several key points of emphasis that came out of that study. One, that Brooklyn is really in a position to become one of the most desirable cities to live and do business in Northeast Ohio. To take the action that will help us define the city's identity to help the city stand out within the region. As we were doing this, Brooklyn kind of got lumped in with like Old Brooklyn. People would confuse us with Brooklyn Heights sometimes. And so really it was to take action to help this city stand out in this region because it is obviously a great city for us to live in. Update the recreation center and the city parks, update our zoning standards, update the city hall and police station, and then find ways to modernize existing housing so that residents can enjoy their homes in all stages of life. So all these were kind of key points of emphasis that came out of that master plan. And I am pleased to announce that we've made significant progress in that plan over these last several years. We've updated our city logo and branding. We've enhanced the city gateways into our city. We, of course, just completed the new city center and the police station, which we had the ribbon cutting for not too long ago. The Kingdom Trails, which is the property behind our fire station, is often referred to as the Kingdom. That's not its official name, but that's what everyone around here knows it as. And the first phase of trails leading into that park has been completed. As we go through this is not everything that's been accomplished, it's just kind of some highlights. Back in May, we saw the zoning map approved overwhelmingly by the residents of the city. So that was accomplished on the list of things to do in the master plan. We restructured the operational organization of our rec center and our senior center, combined them together to help enhance services there. And then most recently, I apologize, that got moved over, but the completed renovation of the trails and the bridge installation in Lower Veterans Memorial Park, that was just completed just 2 weeks ago. So that bridge is now completed inside of there. We're continuing to move on with economic development, of course, with Medical Mutual moving into the old AG property. That's really revitalized that entire area. That facility and that region is almost 100% occupied now with thriving businesses, and ICP is actually looking to build another building on the 25 acres that's over there. They're speccing that out now for more potential investment in that area. Of course, I already mentioned we updated Marquardt Park. And then I just had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to hire in 3 new firefighters here in the city. So we've hired additional safety personnel here in the city also. Moving forward, we've accomplished a lot of things, but there's still quite a bit that we want to see accomplished. The second phase of our Gateway Sign Plan will be completed this fall. We obviously have the major ones there at the intersection of Tiedemann and 480, but there'll be other ones going up around the city. We're also trying to partner with the city of Cleveland to do the same thing over on the Ridge Road as well. Another interesting item that's on the agenda is the Memphis Road Diet. And that's simply going to be a study of Memphis Road, and we're working on the engineering of that right now to make that a 2-lane road going each way. There'll be kind of landscape medians in the middle of that with dedicated bike lanes going up and down both sides. So the idea behind that is really to enhance many areas and really make that the civic center right there along Memphis Avenue. And so we're working on the plans for that. That's being engineered right now. Of course, we have the brand new library. The demolition of the current City Hall is just about complete. There'll be a groundbreaking ceremony for that new library about 1 month from now on July the 13th, and that should be completed sometime in the late summer of next year. We also have a master plan that has been created for the Veterans Memorial Park, and a council will get another look at that before that's finalized. And then we hope to, in the budget work sessions this fall, set aside some funding to revitalize that entire Memorial Park and to enhance it. It hasn't been updated since the 1990s. And so we look forward to seeing that implemented moving forward again as part of the master plan. The Kingdom Trails we hope to complete in the coming years as well. Phase 2, which will fully circle that entire region. There's a master plan being done for that right now there in the Kingdom, and really allowing more access for people to get out into nature and these trails, which is a big part of the master plan. Veterans Memorial Plaza, they actually will start this work tomorrow. As a result of the library, we had to move the cannons and all the different monuments, the Gold Star and Blue Star monuments, to a different location. So we took this opportunity to take the 3 lots that are to the east of the current City Hall building, and then we actually purchased the house to the south of that will be demoed on Wednesday to create this new Veterans Memorial Plaza. And so all the cannons will be there, all the different monuments will be up there. There'll be, of course, all the flags will be there as well for all of our veterans. It'll be a really, really nice park when it's all done. That should be done hopefully sometime this fall. Right now, of course, Brook Park Road's under construction. As part of the master plan was to do improvements along Brook Park Road, road improvements along there. And this is really going to be a partnership between us and primarily Cleveland and Parma. But on our side of Brook Park Road, we're already beginning to implement plans to upgrade, and primarily on the western side of our city, there on Brook Park Road, to just do improvements. There's some areas up that don't have any tree lawns. It just goes, it's entire asphalt all the way to the curb where the road goes. And so those different types of improvements will be implemented. That's a very, very long-term plan. It's going to take a long time to implement that. We partnered with the county a couple years ago to do a plan for that entire Brook Park Road corridor. Recreation Center is a main point of emphasis that's going to take place over the next several years. Our Recreation Center is in need of some major upgrades, and so that's going to be a point of emphasis here in the near future. And then really reviewing the structure and the functionality of all city departments. I've already begun that process, working with our police department and our fire department as well, and really just helping to make sure that we are staffed the way that we need to be. You will see the hiring of additional safety personnel, primarily in the police department, in the coming months. And of course, just to make sure that we continue providing the excellent safety services that we have for many years here in the city. And of course, our goal is, again, continue moving Brooklyn forward, and we do that all together. Say, well, that's really great. That's what's going on in the city, but what does that have to do with the schools? Well, I'm glad you asked. All right, so of course, all of these enhancements, these city enhancements, the economic recovery, the quality school system that we have here, all of that we've seen the valuation of the property in Brooklyn increase by 26% in the past 10 years. And so property values in 2013 were just under $292 million. Today, that value stands at nearly $370 million. And so we've seen major increases in the valuation of property. Of course, that's huge wins for the school, as higher property values means increased revenues, not at 26%, but it still means increased revenues for the school. And so as we continue to implement the master plan, we would expect that these values would continue to rise, and of course that would further bolster school revenue, which is a win for the school system and the entire city as a result. And then as we move forward together, the plan is to continue building strong relationships between the city and the school, to continue sharing services, both personnel services as well as facilities moving forward. We want to continue to maintain and enhance communication. Dr. Claris and I have met every month since I had taken this position in January. I've met with the school board president and the school board vice president, the school board president twice. And so we're trying to make sure that we continue enhancing that communication with the schools so that we can make sure we continue sharing services for our residents. And then lastly, as we mentioned before, is to continue moving Brooklyn forward together. I believe we have yeah, there you go, Ms. Kroll. There's your picture right there in the parade. She's shaking her head. And, the city is very appreciative of the schools, and we want to continue seeing us work together for that partnership, really to help Brooklyn to continue to maintain the strong community that it is, and it takes both of our organizations, the city and the schools, to see that happen. So, all right, I'll be happy to answer any questions if anyone has any. If not, I'll
Anybody?
sit down and let you get on with your meeting.
The only thing I would, if the board's okay with it, I think we should put this PowerPoint on our website. If he has a tab, if everybody's okay with that, I don't see why not.
Mayor, is that okay with you?
Absolutely, sure.
Is everybody okay with it?
I'll take it. I got it.
Just as a digital tab, so everybody can click through it as well, too.
Mayor, thank you. We really appreciate
My
your
pleasure.
time this evening, and we appreciate the partnership and moving forward. And you know, I think back in March, April, with my state of the school, one of my statements was making our school district a destination school district, and I think taking that to the next step, making our city and school district a destination city. So we're appreciative of the support, and hopefully we can continue to do this type of communication annually. So thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. We're gonna go on to the superintendent's report, that's gonna be Dr. Kolaris.
Good evening, Board of Education. Just some updates in the spirit of summer projects and end of the year. We had a great end of the school year, field days, and we had a great graduation. So congratulations to all of our 2023 graduates. Congratulations to our parents, our families on that journey. It's such a milestone event for our families, and congratulations to Bonnie and Rick. We have two senior parents on the board here, and I was a senior parent last year, and I remember what an emotional day that was, and really just an emotional summer. So congratulations to all our families. Summer is a busy time, especially as we prepare for fall and August with cleaning and projects, and this is actually one of the busier times for the school district. I want to just kind of update the board with some of the bigger capital improvement projects that we have going on this summer, which kind of leads us into what our July planning and work sessions will look like. So kind of big projects overall. We have about a little shy of about $700,000 worth of capital improvement projects going into the district this summer, from new furniture from K through 3 and some of our elective classes and supplemental, to we'll be resealing the district campus lots. We'll be doing new concrete work in front of the high school. We'll be maintaining and repairing the auditorium roof. Additionally, we are continuing to upgrade the fire alarm system. That's been an ongoing project since we had the issue last August. Got a replacement over at the bus garage. We've had a little bit of an electrical issue at the stadium with concerns to our scoreboard. So Mrs. Neal and Mr. Becker are working through some of those issues. We're looking at an additional, installing some carpeting in our balcony of our auditorium, and that's on top of the additional maintenance of painting classrooms, cleaning. We'll also be installing some new stadium fencing on the visitor side of the stadium, so from the transportation garage all the way over to the visiting side ticket booth. That'll all be new fencing come hopefully beginning of August. We'll also be having some playground turf installed in our playground for our preschoolers. That's going to be funded through our UPK grant, no cost to the district. But overall, it's a very busy summer in terms of projects and cleaning and just kind of the general maintenance of our facility. Mrs. Neal and her cleaning and custodial team do an amazing job. We also have opportunities for our students to come in and be student workers, which help with the technology side of things. So it's really you would think not a lot happens in the summer, but it's a very busy 2.5 months trying to get ready for August 17th when we have staff come back. Some of the things moving forward, just so the board's aware, we're gonna use our July 11th and July 25th board meetings as work sessions to do strategic planning, to talk about master facility planning, kind of in the same vein as what the mayor talked about with regards to some of the city planning. But take a look at really what continuation of the conversation of what do we really need to do in terms of our renovations, our upgrades in the district. Lisa, myself, and Mrs. Neal met with AVG for a second time about a week and a half ago. I'm hopeful to have an updated draft 2 of some potential scope of what another renovation would look like for the district, and so I'll be able to present that to the board in July. We'll also have Mike Sharp from Squires, Patton, and Boggs at that meeting, just to have a conversation with the board in terms of what would a potential financing of that look like. And so just beginning to have these conversations. I would also ask that in July, part of this conversation will be, as the new library is constructed on Memphis Road, we will be eventually taking over that property that sits on Hurricane Alley and Ridge Road. And so the board's gonna need to begin having conversation in terms of what is the intention of that property? What do we wanna do with that property? That'll kind of be that July 11th, July 25th meeting. We'll kind of hit the academic side of the house of things. We'll talk about our plans we'll kind of center around our strategic plan. We'll look at our 5 pillars. We'll talk about our action steps, and then we'll kind of look at what does our 23-24 school year look like. So I think in a previous update, I've sent the board a copy of the updated action steps for the strategic plan. So take a look at those. If you need another copy, let me know, but we can go from there. Okay? Any questions?
The only statement I may make is those July meetings, maybe we should have them in here, because you might have a bigger crowd. And I think we should try to invite people to come talk about all this, so.
Sure.
That would be my recommendation, is maybe instead of treasurer's conference, we have them in here, or another room that's
We can have
available.
them in here. We'll just renotice it. That's
Whatever
fine.
the board thinks, but I'm just throwing it out there, because we may have
Yeah.
more visitors.
Yeah, we won't be taping those
Yeah,
unless you want.
That's fine, no,
Yeah.
I mean, majority rules, but I would say, we could just have the conversation.
Great.
And I think maybe we have some questions, answers as well, or at least questions from the,
Yeah, and again, just a conversation to get
Yeah,
us going, get us
exactly.
started, and really, because I
I think those are important, keeping people
Yeah, those are
involved.
absolutely. So,
Anybody else on that?
Okay,
Good idea.
that is my report.
All right, appreciate it. We're gonna go on to Mr. Scott. He just wrote us checks for, what was, I'm just kidding, treasurer's report. Go ahead.
I've sent you an update today, but I'm gonna repeat. At the end of May, we are projecting that you may have a $2.9 million surplus over what was projected last year, which is good news. As you know, we belong to Ohio Schools Council, and for fiscal year '22, there was a savings of $30,580. Okay?
Appreciate it. I'd like to thank Mr. Scott for all his coordination over the years. As everybody knows, we have hired a treasurer, and we really appreciate your support. You're not going away, you're just slowly moving out. So, again, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate for all your help. You've really been
Every day I see him, I start off with, "You're not allowed to quit."
So, I appreciate that. We're gonna go on to comments from board members, board committee reports, and tonight, we're gonna start with Mr. Singer.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I'd like to welcome Mayor Kirk and his guest to our meeting. Good to see you. And thank you for the update on the city too. That was very, very enlightening. Welcome to Councilman Cucci. Nice to see you again. I'd like to congratulate again our new treasurer, Rob Shearhart. as our new treasurer for Brooklyn City Schools. I hope that Rob can pick up where John leaves off, because if he does, we'll be $6 million in a plus next year. Anyway, I hope that everybody's having a safe and enjoyable summer. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. We're gonna go on to Mr. Slattery.
Thank you. Rec Board was canceled for June, July, and August. Facilities, I think Dr. Ted pretty much outlined it very, very well. Curriculum Committee, we won't have a meeting until the start of the school year. This past weekend, the football team and the cheer squad had a car wash. They were real busy. They did very, very well. There's fundraisers going out throughout the whole year. They're on social media. Please follow them, stop up, no matter what group it is, come out, support the kids. They work very hard to cover some of the cost of being part of those teams, so appreciate your help. Thank you.
Got it. On to Mrs. Barczyk.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mayor Van Kirk, for coming, and your assistant. I hope he pays you well for being his assistant. Thank you for the update on the city, and thank you also for the letters to each of the graduates. I know that it meant a lot to a lot of people, and it was a very nice gesture. We haven't had that in the past. From my daughter graduated a couple years ago, and I didn't receive one back then, but thank you so much for doing that. We appreciate it. I would like to once again wish all the graduates congratulations, and always remind them that they always have a place off of an exit off of 480 that they can call home, and there will always and forever be hurricanes. And I can't wait to hear about the great things that they accomplish and that they do in the future. So congratulations to the class of 2023. Like I always say, I can always be reached. I was going to talk about Sandy, but you kind of took my thunder.
You can still talk about it.
No, I was actually, you actually said one of the things I was going to say, that like everybody thinks the building closes and then like it's empty for 2 months and then all of a sudden, whoo, we open the doors. But it's really Sandy and the summer workers and her entire team who get everything ready all summer long, and they're working. This is like their busiest time of year. But so you covered that base, so I don't need to say that. So I can always be reached if anyone would like to speak to me at 216-406-4304. Thank you, Mr. President. That's all I have.
On to Ms. Kroll.
The Domestic Abuse Commission met earlier in June. June is Elder Abuse Awareness Month. Meg Ryan Shockey is collecting letters and cards to go to letters of isolation, which will be distributed to senior citizens. I don't know if it's just in Ohio or across the whole country. So we started to do that, and that's all I have.
All right, everybody's moving
Gil,
along.
can I ask Kelly a question? Is it
Sure.
like a pen pal kind of thing, or is it just like
No.
you send one note and then, like, what are you supposed to, like, is it anything? Or-
Anything just to kind of, a lot of them, live alone and don't get mail or don't get visitors, so kind of just to, brighten their day.
Okay, thank you. My report's gonna be short as well. Thank you, Mayor Van Kirk, for that update. I wasn't aware of a lot of stuff that's going on. Sometimes we get caught up in life and it goes fast and furious. And Councilman Pucci, thank you for being here. I only have one report, the Polaris report. And I just want to give you an update on the vet tech. And the city's well aware of this. The vet tech will be open in the fall, but they have a AC issue. They're waiting for a part for their part of the vet tech. So that's the delay. And I've also talked to both Superintendent Timmons and Dr. Claris about having Polaris make a presentation here as well too. I think it'll be just what they do for Brooklyn, what they bring to the table. So in months to come, I think we should recommend doing that.
Yeah, Mr. Neal, we can, we can make that part of our conversation on the 25th in
Correct.
terms of, I think what we need, I would like to really script our board work sessions next year and script our presentations to make them more student-focused and make sure we're showcasing the great things we're doing in the district. So when we talk on the 25th, I'd really like to get your ideas in terms of what do you want to hear, what do you want to see, and obviously we have that on the list, but I think we can script that a little bit better so we can kind of have a plan going forward for the 23-24 school year, so we know meeting from meeting exactly what to expect. And obviously we'll always have a little bit of we'll have to punt a little bit and adapt, but generally I'd like to really script what that looks like.
Can I ask something?
Sure,
I know
absolutely.
we had a meeting at Polaris like over a year ago, back in, it was the fall of 2021.
Correct.
I know, was that something we plan on doing annually, or do they have like the other, were we the only school district that did that, or does anyone else
You know,
do
I'm not
that?
sure, I haven't heard anything, but we could set that up as well, too.
Oh, I know why you're smiling, I know exactly why you're smiling, yeah.
He
'cause
did say if he came, someone come here, they'd bring goodies.
It's all about the food, isn't it? If you send your picture.
Well, they do have a wonderful culinary, if you
Well, I'm not
want,
gonna
if you
say
want.
that, the meal was wonderful, and I'm not gonna say that I don't want them to cook for us, cause it was delicious, but.
Right. Rick's daughter graduated from the culinary program, it's second to none in the nation.
Right.
It truly is, so.
We could maybe make that a work session and so it's a little less, I don't wanna say less formal, but it's, you know, it's not a
Yeah,
video.
no,
thing.
whatever
And we
you,
could, yeah, I mean,
Set
let's
it
talk
up
about
with
that in
Bob.
July and for sure.
he's
yeah.
open to anything, so
Mhm.
I'm all good. If we go there or stay here, that's fine by me, but I just think they should be brought to the table a little bit more out front.
I
You
think
know
we
what I
could do
mean?
both. I mean, like having them
Yeah.
present here so that it's
I'm
will be
in.
recorded, so that the residents can see, like what Polaris does.
I agree, and that's the reason I sort of brought it up. I go, you know what, I go to the meetings and there's a lot of stuff that I forget to bring to the table. So if it's on video here, we could share it.
I mean, and it affects everyone in the city because they have all the adult education programs that, like, people don't realize that they have those, like, even furthering their careers. So it would be something they could talk about, not just the students, but like how it could help our entire community, yeah.
I'm not gonna put words in their mouth, but it might be not a bad idea to have a Brooklyn tour night. You can go out there and do a tour as a Brooklyn resident. Probably open a can of worms for them, but that's all right.
You can have that conversation with
Yeah,
Mike.
exactly. Our taxes pay for all that, so.
They-
Anyway.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Are they gonna have an open house for the vet tech program? Is that
I will
one or-
find out for you. I'm gonna say yes,
Okay.
but I'll find out for sure,
All right. yeah.
okay? Okay, we're gonna go on to, where was I? Minutes. Hold on one second. Yep, minutes and Board of Education approval. And tonight's reader's gonna be Mr. Singer.
Thank you. Be resolved that the minutes of the Board of Education meeting be hereby adopted and all action taken by the Board of Education in said meeting is hereby reaffirmed and approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? I'll second it. Questions, comments? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mrs. Carl,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Be resolved that Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the financial statements of receipts and expenditures for the month of June,
May,
Right.
May,
We missed it,
insert noted,
as noted.
month of May, including all purchase orders paid and all then and now statements for the month as submitted.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? I'll second it. Questions, comments? We'll note that this is
Yeah,
May.
I'll make a switch,
All
yep.
right.
Yeah, please adopt it.
All right.
I will.
Whoa, pen went flying. Mr. Scott, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Ms. Carl,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Be resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby commends the following students for their academic achievement as noted in the attachments.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Congratulations, good job. Awesome. Anybody else? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck,
Yes.
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Ms. Carl,
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Be resolved that Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached Brooklyn School and Brooklyn High School student handbooks for the 2023-24 school year.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
I'll second. Questions, comments? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Ms. Carl,
Yes.
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck,
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Be resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following cafeteria prices for the 2023-24 school year. Grades K-5, breakfast $1.45, lunch $2.70, adult $4.75, milk is 40 cents. Grades 6 to 12, breakfast is $1.65, lunch is $3 for For adults, it's $4.75, and milk is 40 cents.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? I'll second it. Questions, comments?
No changes.
All right.
No
Don't
changes.
you- When we went to school, wasn't milk a nickel? Or you were probably before me, but.
Milk, what's that?
Exactly. All right. I'm sorry. Anybody else? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Be resolved that Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby enters an agreement with PSI Affiliates, Inc., also doing business as PSI Associates, Inc., for Title I support services, auxiliary and IDEA grant funds for the 2023-24 school year per the attached contract. This agreement is on file in the Treasurer's office.
Can I have a motion, please?
Second.
Second. Questions, comments?
This is,
Go ahead.
this is non-public grant funds that have to funnel through so this is for St. Thomas More. They have to funnel through the school district. It's no cost to our
It's just
district.
a flow-through.
It's a flow-through, that's exactly right.
And can you explain what Title I is, just like what it's for?
Title I serves our at-risk students, IDEA grant funds serve our special needs students. Thank you. Mr.
Anybody
President.
else? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll?
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Be resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following athletic event ticket prices for the 2023-24 school year. General admission varsity football only is $8. General admission, all ages, $7. Cuyahoga Valley Conference recommended price. Seniors over 60, free. Students of Brooklyn City Schools, free with student ID card.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Questions, comments?
Only changes the football price, increase of $1 per the CVC. That's it, everything else
Is
is
that because of officiating, or
probably lots of different things.
those guys, they make way too much?
Maybe you should contact the president of that organization.
Exactly. When he gets there at 4:30, I have to be there at, until 11, so. I'll get my
I
seven.
have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
The senior citizens, it doesn't specify, is it all senior citizens?
So,
Because we already do the,
yeah, that's a great question.
It says-
I don't know the answer to that, Kelly. I'll find out for you. I'll find out for you. I don't know the answer to that. My guess is we allow our seniors in no matter what, but I'll find out for you. I'll talk to Mike.
If they buy a Bob's Burger, they get in free for sure. All right. Anybody else? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Be resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby enters into an agreement with the Groovy Garfoose LLC for music therapy in the preschool classrooms for the 2023-2024 school year per the attached contract. This is paid out of the UPK funds, which is Universal Kindergarten there. Agreement is on file in the Treasurer's office.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Second. Questions, comments? Mr. Scott, could you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Be it resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves granting a limited contract to the following certified personnel for the 2023-24 school year. This is contingent upon successful completion of background checks and credentializing. We have Karen Gallagher, school counselor, class 5, MA plus, is that 1.5 or 15?
15, right.
15, step 6.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Be it resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the employment of the following classified personnel for the 2023-24 school year as noted. Susan Cozio, classroom assistant for the study hall, appendix B, 191 days, step 3.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Questions, comments? Scott, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
I'm gonna abstain.
Be it resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves summer hours as needed for transportation effective June 21st through August 16th, 2023 for the following classified staff. Gordon Erkolovich as needed for the purpose of summer activities, routing, and scheduling transportation activities prior to the start of the 2023-24 school year.
Can I have a motion, please?
So,
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Be resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following individuals for additional summer hours as listed at their currently hourly rate of pay. They are Francis Meeks, who prepares mailing to students for August open house and student orientation, not to exceed 10 hours. Melanie Vukmir, preparing to mail to students for August open house and student orientation, not to exceed 10 hours. And Kim Dare, set up Brooklyn School Media Center, not to exceed 14 hours.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Questions, comments? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Be resolved, the Brooklyn City School District of Education hereby approves the following individuals for the 2023-24 school year. Supplemental assignments with the provision that such individuals comply with all rules and regulations and State Department of Education regulations pertinent to proper certification and fulfills the requirements of the supplemental contracts as noted. We have special education K through 7 team leader Lindsay Edelson. We have Title I intervention specialist K through 3 team leader Christina Bacha. PBS committee building coordinator 8 through 12 Jacinta Bader. PBIS committee building coordinator PK through 7 Susie Marquez.
Next page.
We have PBI's committee building coordinator PK through 7 Denise Smith. We have community outreach coordinator Susie Marquez. And IAT 504 coordinator grades 4 through 7 Karen Gallagher.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? My pen's falling apart here. I'm sorry.
You need any more, Rick?
No, it's all right. I'll get through it. Anybody else? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following student summer worker effective immediately. Maria Lucan. Is that Lucan?
That should be, excuse me, that should be a resignation in that recommended action, Mr. Neal.
Resignation?
Yeah,
Everybody
resignation.
approves?
Let me reread the motion, please.
All right, please.
Please resolve that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the resignation of the following student summer worker effective immediately. That's Maria Lucas.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Everybody's got the correction correct?
Yep.
All right. Mr. Scott, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Be resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached exempt employment contract effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026 for the following employee. This contract is on file in the Treasurer's Office, and that is Kelly Gasper, Assistant Treasurer 2.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Questions, comments? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Be resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following classified resignation effective at the end of the 2022 23 school year as Kelly Gasper, Pupil Service Secretary.
Have a motion, please?
So
So,
moved.
second.
Have a second, we got first and a second. Questions, comments? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes. Do we have any other board business? Anything? Gonna move on to announcement of next regular Board of Education meeting will be Tuesday, June 27th. Hold on, I gotta put my glasses on. Tuesday, June 27th, 2023, Treasurer's Office Conference Room, 9200 Bidoff, Brooklyn, Ohio, 6 PM. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Mr. Scott, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mr. Zinger?
Yes.
Ms. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.